So then 1 + 1 makes 2, English speaking, very good country. That's why I'm here. Hi, I'm Daphne. I'm 25 and I'm from the Netherlands. I'm an au pair here in Sydney. I've been here for 8 months or 9 months in total. I arrived beginning of September and I will leave in June. Well, I started babysitting, I think, when I was 12 years old. So I've done that for a lot of years back home. Then I did a couple of internships in special education. And after I finished my studies, I worked with high school students for, I think, 2 years. I've chosen Australia or Sydney to become an au pair in because it's in English-speaking country. So that was one of my things I looked for. And I always heard very good stories about Australia in general. So then 1 + 1 makes 2, English-speaking, very good country. That's why I'm here. Well, not everything works out the way you expect it to be. Because I was supposed to be picked up from the airport when I arrived in Sydney after a day and a half full of traveling. That was a very nice thing to look forward to. But I think I landed at 5 a.m. in the morning and it took me just a half an hour to get through security and get my bags. And then I was at arrivals and I looked around and I didn't see anyone I recognized. I knew my host that was supposed to be there with a big pink piece of paper with like a welcome sign. And I didn't see my host that or the pink piece of paper. So I was like, okay, great. I just traveled for 30 hours and now there's no one here to pick me up. But I just wandered around a little bit, started walking where to the car park. And then when I walked that way, I saw a big pink piece of paper coming my way. And then my host that was there, he was like, oh yeah, you were so quick. Normally it takes an hour to get through security, get your bags. So I thought I had time, but it was all good in the end. Well, at first I had a Skype call with just my host mom, and we were talking for quite a while, and we talked about lots of stuff about the family, about what my interests are, how I am as a person, how they are, what they would expect from an au pair, everything, but also just stuff that is not related to being an au pair at all. And then when we hung up the phone, like, wait, how long did we actually call each other? And I looked at my watch and it was like an hour. Like, wow, that went by so fast. So that was the first thing. I was like, okay, that's a really good first impression, really good feeling I have with this family right now. My matching process was kind of interesting because I started looking for a family pre-COVID, because the plan was to leave a couple of months later. I started looking in February. The plan was to leave in October, and we still continued. So I found a family, I think, in August. So that is 6 months it took me to fill out all the forms and match with the family. But because of COVID, that unfortunately didn't work out. So when COVID was gone or was on its way out and the borders opened again, I started my matching process again. And then I think it took me not even a week to find my new family where I'm at right now. Well, my host family consists of 5 people: my host mom, my host dad, and then there's 3 girls. The youngest one, she's 5. She actually has her birthday in 2 weeks, so then she turns 6. Then the middle one, she's 10, and the oldest one, she's 12. We all live in Mosman, that's in the Northern Beaches, really nice area. And I have my own bedroom on the ground floor. There's a bathroom there as well, that's mine. But when people are downstairs, they use that toilet, of course. And all the other bedrooms are all upstairs. So I have like my own space downstairs. Yeah, so I work 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, and I always have my weekends off. And every day my hours are roughly the same. So I start at 7 and then I work until 9 in the mornings. And then in the afternoons I work from 3 till 7. The mornings, it's mostly getting the kids ready. The oldest one, she does that herself and she leaves the house pretty early and then she's gone. She takes the bus to school. The other two, I get them ready, make their lunches, help them get dressed. And there's always some extra time we have, so we play games. And then at around 8:30, we leave the house and then we walk to school. And then around 9, I'm back again. Sometimes I have to do the washing in the morning, or I have to get to the store to get some groceries, that stuff. And then from 9 until 3, I'm off. At 3, I start again. I pick the youngest and the middle one, pick them up at school. And then all afternoons look a bit different. Sometimes I have to drop them off at soccer or at piano lessons, saxophone lessons, hockey, dance. They have lots going on in the afternoon, but that's more like my host mom is sometimes home in the afternoon too. So then we just see who has the time. I go with the youngest one to soccer, and then she takes the middle one to hockey, and then we just work it out like that. At 6, we always have dinner, everyone who is home, so that always differs who's home, so who's there for dinner. I cook just on one night. The other nights, I just have to. My host dad, he cooks on Sunday, so I just have to put some stuff in the oven, and then we have dinner. Then the cleaning up after, and then at 7, I'm done. And weekends, I'm off sometimes, but that's very rare. They ask me to babysit, but I think in those 8 months I'm here now, that only happened 4 or 5 times maybe, so not that often. Yeah, so my main au pair duties are making their lunches in the morning. That's the first thing I start with, and then getting them ready to all head out the door on time and drop them off at school. And then in the afternoon, drop them off at all their sports and play with them if we have time, and make sure that they do their homework and their piano practices and stuff. I have a lot of free time. Always between 9 and 3, I'm always off. So it depends what I do. When the weather was really nice in summer, I spent a lot of time at the beach. So I just dropped the kids off and then went straight to the beach. And on my way home, I picked the kids up. I go for walks. I spend time with my friends. We go into the city, grab a coffee, do some shopping. But there was also some days that I just felt like doing nothing, and I just stayed home, watched some Netflix, because you need those days sometimes too when you live in Australia and do a lot of things. And because all my weekends I had off, I took those days to explore Sydney, but also explore areas around Sydney. So we took a lot of road trips to Jervis Bay or Port Stephens, the Hunter Valley. I went on surf camp. So the weekends are perfect for that. And I also had a lot of free time during the school holidays because my host family traveled, and they just said to me, you can travel Australia by yourself. So I had, I think in total, maybe 5 weeks off because of school holidays. So I had a lot of time to explore Australia too. It was actually pretty easy to make friends here. I just posted something on Facebook, I think, and I was like, I just arrived. I live there and there. Does anyone want to go for lunch or go to the beach together? And then some girls responded to that. So the first week, I think I had a lot of coffee meetups with a lot of different girls. Some of them I only saw once, and then others, they are still my friends. The best friends I made through WhatsApp. There's lots of WhatsApp groups going around, and people message in those groups and be like, I'm going for a coffee there and there. If anyone wants to join, just tag along. There's lots of au pairs here. They're all here for the same reasons. Everyone is open to meet new people. So I've met lots of people and lots of good friends here. I've been to 2 activities from Smart Au Pairs. The first one was an orientation day. After I was here for a couple of weeks, there was an orientation day with all the au pairs that arrived over the last weeks. And we got some useful tips and information about being an au pair, maybe some tips and tricks or things you experience in your first weeks, how to handle those. So that was really nice. Met some nice people there, also people I already knew, so it was fun seeing them again. And I went on a surf camp that was, you got a discount with smart au pairs from that, and that was a lot of fun. It was not only smart au pairs, so it was not only au pairs that were there, but also a lot of exchange students. So it was a nice mixed group of people, and I had a very good weekend. That was really nice. What I really enjoy about being an au pair in Australia, or especially Sydney, is that you have the beaches around the corner. So just drop the kids off at school, spend your day at the beach, and then start working again. The city is around the corner, like the big city. So you have there's everything. There's a lot going on weekends or during the evenings, and especially on the weekends, there's time to explore the beauty that Australia has to offer. So yeah, that's what I really enjoyed. Well, one moment that will always stay with me is one night we went to the beach together. I think it was already after 7, so I was not on duty anymore. But they got a support for Christmas, and they've been asking me for weeks, can you please come with us to the beach, go on the support, please, please, and then we can push you off in the water. And every time when they went to the beach, it didn't work out for me, or when I had time, they didn't have time. And then one night, it was already getting dark. And like, yeah, it's the perfect day. It's still hot outside. Let's go. So my host dad, and then the youngest one and middle one, the three of us, or the four of us, we went to the beach and we had the most fun in the water. And just that's the moment I'll cherish. Yeah, it was so fun. This is a thing. Every host family, of course, is different. But first, before I became an au pair, I always thought that as an au pair, you are part of the family, and I definitely feel like I'm part of the family. But on weekends and in the evenings when I'm off, there's really clear separation between the two things, that I'm off or when I'm working. So I can just do my own things on the weekend. And of course, when I'm in the living room or in the kitchen getting myself some food, and one of the kids starts talking to me or shows me something, of course I'm happy to talk with them, or I look at the picture they made or whatever. But it's also nice to just feel like, okay, it's also okay to say no, and it's also fine to say no, I don't have time right now, I'm on my way out. So at first I was like, is this a good thing that it's this separated? But now looking back, like, yeah, that was a very good thing, or at least for me that was very good, because now I never felt obligated to do stuff that wasn't that I didn't actually have time for, and just could do my own stuff. Well, before I left, a lot of people said, well, at some point you'll get homesick because you're far away from family. Time zones are different culture. So before I left, I was a bit worried. It's like, oh, I will get homesick at some point. Well, there's always days you're like, okay, it would be nice to just have a cup of coffee with someone from home. But there's so much to see and do around here. There's so many great people here that I have never really felt that homesick. One of the biggest challenges is like when it's kids, and everyone has their own ideas about raising kids. And I studied, my education was in that area. So I had some ideas from that. My childcare experience, I had some ideas from that. My host parents, they have ideas. So sometimes we have different ideas, but we always manage to work it out and work together as a team. Living in Sydney has definitely changed me, because everything is okay in Sydney. It's a big city, so no one cares what you do, how you look, what you wear, what you say. Well, maybe a little bit what you say, but I definitely learned to care a lot less about what people think. And if I wanted to do it, I just did it, whatever other people would think of that. I also hoped, before I left, that being here far away from home, that I would figure out what I wanted to do with my life when I get back. I can tell you, I still have no idea. I don't have the time to think about it. There's just so much to do around here that there's no time. Or at least for me, I didn't have time to really figure out what to do when I get back home. But we'll figure that out later. Well, if you're not sure or still considering going to Australia as an au pair, yes or no, well, I would say just do it, go for it. But if you're still a bit unsure, do your research. There's a lot of stuff to find online, tips and tricks, and also reach out for people who have been an au pair, ask what their tips are, what they think of it, if they had things they like, but also the things that they did not like, because it's good to know that before you head out. So just talk with a lot of people and then make your decision.